So are we really in a bull market that's disguised as a bear market that might come out in 3 months as a bull market? I know it sounds kind of confusing, but that's basically what the stock market has been doing to us. We've been in a roller coaster, and we told you guys last week that the earnings season is going to tell us a lot about what is happening so far and what is to come in the rest of the year. So we're very interested, and there's been a lot of news that came out last week for earnings. But this week is even a bigger week. We see players like Visa, we've seen players like Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, everyone's reporting, and we're gonna cover everything you need to know right now. So, Rel, let's get right into it, bro.
Yeah, for real, for real. So first of all, remember guys, this week, 42% of the S&P 500 reports just this week alone. This week will tell you a lot. We also have GDP coming out, PCE coming out for inflation. So this is a big week for the stock market. But once again, earnings is the focus because everybody's been waiting on these earnings. And so far, we have definitely seen reports from the big company, Microsoft. Microsoft, man, our favorite company, especially.
Wait, whoa, yo. I can't let him slide with that. No, no,
Here
no,
we
no.
go.
We're not doing this, bro.
Here we
You gotta
go.
keep it 100. Just keep it 100. Guys, I'm gonna let Rel start that over for you guys. Rel, go ahead, bro.
Noski's favorite company. All right. It was my second favorite company, but has shown signs to become my first now. I'm not gonna lie, they have become my favorite company, even over Apple at this point. I can't front because of everything they're doing. And it showed with the earnings that they just had this quarter, had the quarter that just passed. Microsoft reports a boost in profits revenue as it pushes AI. They literally shattered earnings and their stock gapped up in the after hours of trading so far. They reported a 9% increase in profit for the January through March quarter because they saw a lot of growth in their cloud computing sales that really shocked everyone, is just how much growth they showed in that, as well as they're expanding their use of AI. So they just really killed everything. I'm not even gonna lie. It said the software maker posted revenue of $52.9 billion in the period. All right, that's up 7% from the same period just a year ago. So first of all, like Newski, how do you feel about Microsoft's earnings thus far? Even
Yeah,
seeing?
so I was reading into it, right? And I think there's a lot of games right now that people are playing on Twitter about how many times are these companies mentioning the term AI or just artificial intelligence, like just those two either letters or that word itself, right? So I think obviously when I see more guidance coming out about it and we see more news in terms of Microsoft and Apple and Amazon and all that stuff, it's going to be very interesting. But for them in particular, I am happy, right? I think I'm impressed with what they're doing so far. I like what they're doing so far. I like the focus is on cloud computing. I think their sales went down in terms of hardware. So like the Xbox they sell and everything of that sort. I know they took a hit on that. But in terms of services, it went up. In terms of cloud computing, it went up, and that's their bread and butter. So I think that's going to be really big. I'm keen on understanding exactly how they tend to, I guess, partner with OpenAI as well. But overall, bro, I have no complaints. I'm really liking the way they're moving, and everyone knows that we say this a lot on Bad Talk. At the end of the day, if you're going to invest in something, especially during this time of the year, especially during quantitative tightening, it's very important to invest in companies that you know are solid winners. And I think Microsoft is a winner.
Nah, definitely. I mean, and it shows, bro. Like if you see, you mentioned AI a lot, and they've been integrating a lot of those AI tools into their cloud computing and all the software and products that they sell to big businesses and organizations. And we're not sure if that's the only reason these organizations are buying it, but I think it's safe to say that their integration of AI into all of their services and all their products is definitely a driver of the increase in profits that they've been bringing in, just literally with their integration of OpenAI. So it's all related to AI. Like AI is literally driving a lot of their success right now. And you've really seen it in the stock price because ever since they've been partnering with OpenAI, their stock has been soaring ever since then. So it's
The biggest thing, bro, I want you to kind of just scroll down a little bit. Is that piece right there, right? So making up for the decline was a 16% increase in revenue from Microsoft's cloud computing. So everyone who knows in terms of like corporate America knows that cloud is everything we use, right? Even if you're not in corporate America, if you're just in general, like on your phone, you have an iPhone or, I mean, Shout out to affiliate for watching this. If you have an Android, like at the end of the day, you still need cloud storage. So Apple makes a lot of money on their cloud storage, but Microsoft is not, too far behind at all. They're killing it in that sense too. And I know the more we head into the future, I know there's like a meme that goes, yo, we're restoring everything. The cloud, like it's funny, but that's really what it is. Everything is going to be cloud computing. Everything's going to be cloud storage, and they're killing it. So I'm happy as an owner.
I agree. I'm happy about that as well as a Microsoft owner. It's I was looking at their personal computing business, like these numbers right here. Personal computing business centered on Windows software has been deteriorating and has continued to deteriorate, because that deterioration began last year due to, as we know, the uncertainties in the economy, the crippling demand as the Fed kept raising interest rates, your crippling demand. So they've definitely seen a hit on personal computing. We saw quarterly sales drop 9%, but as we said, cloud-based business helped make up that deficit, as there was a 16% increase in revenue. So Microsoft is like literally killing it right now, and that's actually an interesting sign to see, because they're a major big tech player. I mean, they're the second biggest company, the S&P 500. It's pretty good to see that they're thriving. So that maybe like is it just going to be the big names like Microsoft that's thriving and everybody else is doing bad? That's what we're going to see. But so far, this is a good sign for the economy to see a Microsoft type company doing well.
Which is also interesting because you said the S&P, right? Like at the end of the day, a lot of people are saying it's the big companies like the Apples, like the Googles, like the Amazons and Microsoft that are really holding up the stock market. But to be fair, that's usually how it goes. Like in the S&P, if you look at the holdings, like you have, I think the top 10 holdings make up 30% or more of the S&P 500. So yeah, like bro, that's usually how it goes. And it's the fact that you want to invest in the 2 best companies or the 10 best companies. That's what's going to hold you up.
Yeah, and Microsoft and Apple, last time I checked, they're making up about 14% of the weighting of the weighted S&P. And so it's kind of showing you that if they've been killing, then they're the ones that's driving a lot of this bull rally that's been going on the S&P. And so I'm interested to see how Apple does as well. I believe Apple comes next week, but it's gonna be major. Microsoft set the bar off on a high note, but there's someone else that's really big on top of Microsoft, and that's Google. And Google, they also had earnings as well, and so they also beat on the top and bottom lines. You see that Google beat on the top and bottom lines, and they authorized a $70 billion stock buyback. So when they announced that, their stock definitely went up after hours as well. They saw that the digital advertisements, although we were expecting slowdowns, it actually is doing better than we thought, because as the economy has slowed down, companies have been slowing down on their digital ads, understandably so. But hey, Google and YouTube didn't do too well. I mean, didn't do too badly on that. They're actually doing pretty well, where it shows that YouTube's ad revenue came in at $6.69 billion, which is a beat after several tough quarters. So
I think just to say something on that point, like if you think about it, everyone knows that we're always on our phones, we're on our laptops. Y'all are probably watching this on your iPhone right now, and you're gonna see digital advertising if you're on your phone. So while companies are slowing down, the reason why I think Google and YouTube actually is doing really well in that sense is because most people are Googling stuff. Most people are YouTubing stuff, and they're the 2 largest search engines. So since they know that and they recognize that, they're like, yo, why don't we just continue putting advertising money in that? Because we know people are watching. And during rough times, bad times, people are always on their phones. They have nothing else to do. So they're like, all right, bet, we're going to capitalize on this. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, like they may decrease spend on it, but it doesn't mean that they're not still going to spend on it. At the end of the day, like it's not going to just die. And like I agree. And if you're going to go anywhere, these are Alphabet as a parent company is the best place to go for it. And so Alphabet's Google Cloud unit, this is what shocked everyone. They turned a profit for the first time. The Google Cloud unit turned a profit for the first time while revenue grew by 28%. That is the fastest of any of the company's main business segments. So Google Cloud is really coming through right now. And you can see the numbers here for revenue, 69.7 billion actual versus 68.96 billion expected. So they beat on revenue, they beat on EPS, they beat on Google ad revenue, and they beat on YouTube ad revenue as well. Google absolutely did very well in their earnings. And just to talk about cloud, because we mentioned Google Cloud, you could see here that yes, they're third place right now for cloud service providers, but if we're seeing growth there, Microsoft better watch out. Amazon better watch out. I know Amazon has a dominant hold on that whole industry, but it's good to see other players like Google starting to creep their way up. That's a very good sign. I know Microsoft did well too, as we spoke about, but I'm just saying, like, it's good to see both companies doing their thing.
I think that, yeah, the biggest thing, bro, at the end of the day, cloud is really where everything is headed, and it has been for quite some time. So if you guys notice the trend, the reason why both of these companies killed it is because of the cloud computing and cloud services that they provide. So at the end of the day, technology will always be here. When we seen how powerful technology can be, we're not gonna let go of it. Now we're just gonna continue to advance and get better at it. So I'm really happy. If you're a Google holder right now, you have to be pretty impressed with the focus that they have on cloud computing and services in terms of online sales. And on top of that, I know this whole meme thing and everyone's been going crazy on Twitter, but understanding what they're doing with AI, understanding what they're able to actually really invest money into is very big. And the fact that they're doing that, it even says right there, meanwhile, Microsoft and its mega investment in OpenAI has sustained substantial public attention. Everyone is talking about it, and these two are going to be big players in it.
And with that being said, I'm glad you brought that up, because when it comes to AI, Google, everybody wasn't really too impressed with what they came out with Bard. They came out with Bard. It was an unimpressive chatbot, but they've been revving it up ever since then. It's like, I felt like OpenAI came and just woke up the bear of Google, and Google's like, I bet we on our bully now. We about to get right. So what they announced is that to reflect the company's shifting strategy for AI, they're going to merge their AI teams. They have an AI team that's Google Research Brain Unit, and they also have DeepMind. They are combining those two AI teams, and they're going to come out with some crazy products in the future. I'm excited to see what they have, but believe it, you think Google just going to die in the AI race? I highly doubt that. Don't ever get it twisted.
Bro, some people actually made a point that they were going to be the winner of AI and on top of Microsoft, because they said that they already have all the data from YouTube, from Google searches. So all the marketing data, as we just saw, ad revenues increase, so they have all the information from their consumers and customers. On top of that, they have other data that they collect from their other services, right? So like the Google phone, or just the there's like the voice thing, right?
You got Gmail, you got like literally
you have Gmail, Google services too. So they have all that data. At the end of the day, they I heard someone say this actually. So basically they're saying if they have all that information, they might come out on top, because it doesn't take that much effort for them to collect data. So that's that.
Google has all the data they need. Ain't nobody got as much data. Nobody has as much data as Google. It's just a matter of time before they roll out something. That's all it is. That's why I don't sleep. Don't sleep on. Ivan?
No, I was saying it's funny you said it's funny you said like poke the bear, because I was like Dylan Brooks shot LeBron type thing, like when he was poking the bear.
Okay, no, but it's real though. Like, don't listen and don't sleep on Bag Talk either, because Bag Talk definitely told y'all when stocks were at all-time lows. Well, not all-time lows, but when stocks were at like bear market lows.
October, we said it.
Yeah, we said this. We came out with a whole 3-part series of what to invest into. We told y'all about these same companies here. We told y'all, look, while everybody's sleeping on Microsoft, while Microsoft stock is depressed right now, get into Microsoft, because they're involved heavily in AI. This is before they even came out with the OpenAI partnership, honestly, like that. And we were saying, like, yo, get into Microsoft, get into NVIDIA. And lo and behold, now NVIDIA is basically up
a lot,
almost 100% from when we said that.
Exactly.
Literally almost 100% from when we said that. So it's like, definitely don't sleep on this either. But moving on.
Another company they can't sleep on, this right here.
Don't sleep on it. Newski, you would have talked about this. I know last week you were mentioning credit. So you can see like profits rose 14% on rising credit and debit card usage. So even just on that alone, before I even elaborate, what does that tell you in itself?
Yeah, so this is why I was interested in this, right? So guys, like the whole purpose behind Bad Talk is like looking at the bigger picture here. So when you think about it, the reason why I was interested in Amex, which is American Express, which is another credit card company, right? Merchant, is because I want to see if people are still spending money or not. And when we look at earnings and everyone reports on it, this tells us if people are still using that debit card, if people are still using their credit card, how the interest rates are looking, if people are spending. And when I see stuff like this, it's like, all right, great. Like I see their profits are going up. But what that tells me, which is more important to me personally, is people still have money to spend and they're using it on a credit card, which then makes me think like, yo, if Visa's interest or their, profits are going up, does that mean that people are spending on credit card and now interest rates are also going higher? So are people going in more credit card debt? Like that's how my brain starts spinning, right? So that's why I was really interested in this, because it gives me more insight.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And even with that, when we talk about the overall stock market, like that shows you that, like you said, consumers are still spending. That doesn't make me feel comfortable for the inflation fight, because even when you look at the inflation fight, it's also been said that gas prices may pick up, right? Based on the whole OPEC thing. So you have that going on. And then you also see there's news that came out recently that said that we just turned home prices went up for the first time in months. When you look at month to month,
I think 7 months.
In 7 months, we were declining for 7 months straight, and we actually just had an increase for the first time, which shows you like, okay, man, knowing that home prices are huge. I mean, not home prices, shelter costs are a huge part of CPI. Seeing that if home prices are going up again, that kind of shows you that maybe that will affect just shelter costs in general, which could affect inflation reports. And then you see people are still spending like this. So it's pretty spooky. You pretty much said what I would want to even say here. Like this is pretty much explaining how Visa makes their money. But ultimately, just to speak on their earnings, like yeah, I mean, it shows that people are still spending. Like while increased card use is boosting profits, Visa's fortunes are still tied deeply to the performance of the global economy. So all they're saying here is that as we have worries about the economy potentially slowing down, that could affect Visa going forward. But so far, Visa looks good. So far, we're not in a recession so far, right? We expect one to be coming, maybe, but as of right now, everything looks healthy, everything looks good, and we'll see what goes forward. The CEO, Ryan McInerney, he says that while the company sees macroeconomic uncertainty, he's still confident that Visa will be able to manage through a changing environment. So we'll see if he's able to hold up his side of the bargain on that.
And the biggest reason for that, bro, is because remember how we talked about, I think we're about to get into it right now, like Visa is such a big holder, and it's not just a US based company, it's everywhere. Like people don't know that. I mean, I don't know if many people know this, but when it comes to Amex, they charge you an international fee on their credit card. So if you have a platinum and you have like Amex Gold and you have other cards, you actually have to pay a fee sometimes when you travel internationally. Visa, you don't. A lot of merchants overseas actually accept Visa. So global economy is very big for them when it comes to actually the profits and the overall money line when it comes to Visa in general. So it varies. It's very important, I guess, in general to understand what's happening in Europe, what's happening in Asia, what's happening in US for Visa.
Yeah, as you see here, the biggest growth is happening in those countries you said, US, Europe, Asia, well, that's a continent, which makes up more than 80% of the company's overall market.
Yeah, I'm weak. I actually didn't see that until you highlighted it. But yeah, that's the biggest thing when it comes down to it.
There you go. Exactly. Now, as far as Visa goes as well, just to mention, so I know we've been talking about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and the implementation of it. We saw that the Federal Reserve is releasing a service called FedNow, for example. And don't think that, oh man, credit card companies like Visa are just out of the picture now as we start to roll out these CBDCs. It's like, no, they actually may be integrated into the technology. They may work with the Federal Reserve to roll these things out. So it shows here that Visa is willing to continue being a private sector player in the CBDC dialogue. And not just Visa as well, they've also partnered with MasterCard to even help roll out some of these CBDC products for the future, or more so help with the research of how it could be implemented into society. So it's not that other CBDCs are going to eliminate them. It's more so that they'll work together to make sure that CBDCs are rolled out the right way while they have a piece of the pie involved in that whole entire transition.
And I just to highlight this part, right? Another reason why this makes me feel even more confident in Visa, at the end of the day, CBDC is a play where the government's going to be heavily involved. So if Visa is helping them out with this or involved in some type of way, they have the backing of the government. So
Yep.
that's another reason why it's like, yo, you kind of want to feel comfort, or you have comfort in Visa. And on top of that, it's a top 15 holding in the S&P 500. So that's another reason why it's like, yo, clearly it's very, very well respected. It has a lot of potential in terms of what's going to happen in the future. But this is why it's very important to pay attention to what's happening in earnings, guys. Like, we just broke down for you guys the biggest companies and what's going on. And that kind of is letting you know what to expect in the future.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And like, just going forward, we got to still see what these other companies report. I'm interested in seeing what Apple reports, especially like I said.
Rel's favorite company. My bad, bro.
Hey, I'll say it proudly. It is my favorite
No,
company.
I'm not mad at it. It's a great company. It's like,
It's a great company. It's not like it's a bad company. It's just that if I had to say over the past year who's impressed me more, Microsoft has impressed me more. I can't lie. They've been really doing their thing, like really doing their thing. That's why I have both. So I have both.
it's shade and sharp both. No, it's just funny because Apple really does have a lot of stuff upcoming. With the banking, it was very impressive what they did. So I'll give them credit. Definitely.
They got that. And wait till the Apple glasses come out. Apple, they coming with stuff.
For sure.
For a fact, it's gonna be great. I just would say with these earnings, guys, keep paying attention to them and just know that ultimately the stock market is gonna react to that. The stock market is gonna react to GDP and it's gonna react to PCE in the short term. And don't forget that May 3rd, we have the Federal Reserve giving the FOMC meeting where they're going to talk about their future plans for interest rates, as well as the interest rate hike that they're about to do most likely. So pay attention to all these things because that will severely affect the stock market. As always, make sure that you're dollar cost averaging and don't try to buy all at one time because there's a lot of uncertainty in the air, but you still want to make sure that you're covering yourself regardless.
That's a fact. Couldn't have said it any better myself, bro. We will be covering all of this, so make sure you always are subscribed to the channel. But at the end of the video, if you're still watching, we thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plus, hit that little notification because we drop
2 videos a week.
And you don't want to miss them. Bro, just letting y'all know, if you missed the last episode that we dropped on how your mortgage could possibly increase if you have good credit score, go back and watch that. We will link it right.
Peace.